So 200 a day. Just to go to the house and keep her company.
That's it.
There's got to be more to it than that. Didn't say anything about the house being on an island.
Come on. What's the big deal?
Hey guys, Sam here with HorrorMom.com, and we are back for episode 3 of the 4 Scares of the Week, where I watch 4 movies that I have never seen before and then share them with you. And this week we have from 2021, Caveat. We have from 2022, The Invitation. From 2023, Infinity Pool. And from 2024, Sting. And I'll let you guess. 3 of these I'm going to recommend, and 1 of them I'm not going to recommend. Try to guess which one you think that is the one I'm not going to recommend, and let me know in the comments if you got it right. So we'll dive in. We're going to start with Caveat from 2021. And this movie is actually on AMC. It's on Prime. And this is another creepy tale from Damien McCarthy, who gave us last week's scare, The Oddity, which you know I loved. I actually kind of looked at Damien McCarthy, and a little bit further I found a couple of shorts that he had made, and they were actually really good. I might actually do a video on those. Sorry, that was Stitch. Because I just think it's interesting to see somebody that they start out that way and now they're like making these huge mainstream movies, and I can't wait to see what he's going to do next. In Caveat, we follow Isaac, and he's a drifter. He's suffering from memory loss, and he accepts an awkward job to watch after a disturbed woman, and her name is Olga, and she lives in a house that is often a secluded island. And this is another movie where we get tidbits as we go along as to what exactly is going on. You come into the beginning and you're really not sure, but it's intriguing. You don't know what's going on, but you know something isn't right. And as we go along, some of Isaac's memories are going to come back, and eventually he's going to figure out that he has been in this house before. This is a very creepy tale, another creepy tale from Damien McCarthy. And I was just dying to figure out, what does everything mean? And it's one of those ones where you really have to pay attention, you know, make sure you're watching down the hallways and you're looking at, like, you know, pictures, and maybe you have to do what I did, which I had to back it up a couple times and recheck something and see, did that move? Did that change, or am I losing it? And it's not until we put everything together that we finally discover what is going on. And this was just like Oddity, this was a creative tale that I had never heard before. You keep seeing creepy stuff and you don't know what it all means until the end, obviously. So I'm definitely going to recommend this movie. I'm going to give this an 8.5 out of 10. I loved it just like I loved Oddity. I think it was so creative. It was creepy. I still have a couple questions just like before, but it just drags you in. Probably one of the things that kind of kept me on my toes, so I will mention, this house that Isaac is in with Olga, it is so disgusting. It's actually just like, it's like a rotting house. It's so run down. There's holes in the walls. Everything is dirty. I can't even imagine being in this house. There's no amount of money that would get me to stay and watch this woman. There's just no amount of money. I would have been like, nope, sorry. And there's definitely some weird rules that he has to follow if he is going to stay and watch over Olga. So you have to tell me if you would have done any of these things. I would not. I would have been like, I'm out of here. Forget it. I will find money some other way. So let me know what you guys think of this one. If you've seen it, let me know in the comments if you liked it after watching it. I think it's another great one. I think that this Damien McCarthy is just got it, and I can't wait to see what he does next. Okay, and for our second movie, I watched The Invitation from 2022, and this is on Hulu. You can stream it there. And in this movie, we meet Evie. She's a struggling artist, and she has no family left. She's actually also working as a server for a caterer company, and she ends up getting a hold of one of the swag bags, and it has a DNA test in it. And she takes it, throws it in the mail. It's supposed to let you know about your heritage or if there's any relatives you have. And miraculously, she hears back. Her cousin Alexander from England reaches out to her, and comes over and is just very nice and endearing and invites her to come to a English wedding to meet her relatives that are there. And he's just so, convincing, and he's willing to pay for everything. Just kind of swoops in like this wonderful guy talking about all her long lost relatives and how she's related to them. And, she's looking for that bond. She's missing her family. And so she accepts. And it's there, this English wedding, she uncovers the dark and twisted family secret that threatens to turn her entire life upside down. So when she visits the DeVille Manor for her family's wedding, she's overwhelmed by the ease of everyone's life. I mean, these are rich people, and they're very nice to her. There's one girl, we'll say Victoria's a little rude, but she is enchanted by this lifestyle. She's enchanted by these people that are reaching their arms out and so nice to her and excited to have her there. It's just filling up that spot where she has no family. I really think that there was a great balance of the horror and the scary parts between the beauty of the story that they were telling about Evie meeting these people and meeting the DeVilles. They did a good job of keeping the story exciting, where there was things in the background going on and darkness and evil without Evie knowing. So you weren't waiting till halfway through the movie or all the way to the end for darkness to happen. It was going on the whole time, and I really liked that. You had an anticipation of how everything was going to go. And when this movie finally takes off, because it has built up such a great story, it was like on a roller coaster where, it's going tick, 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 tick as the cart goes up all the way, and then finally it goes down over the hill and it's, that's how this movie was. They built this story up, they built the character up and built up the DeVilles and all these Richies, and then it just exploded when you went over the hill. And I think it was fabulous. I think that the way this movie was directed was excellent, and it got me really excited because I went and looked up who did it, and Blair Butler is the writer of this movie. And she also wrote Polaroid, which is another horror movie that I very much like. But even better than that, she is the writer for the upcoming Until Dawn that is coming out in April this month. It's going to be out soon, like in several weeks, and I cannot wait. I'm even more excited now because I feel like this Blair Butler, she's going to do that video game right, and it's going to be something incredible. So I'm really excited for Until Dawn, and I'm going to keep my eye on this Blair Butler to see what other movies that she does. I'm going to give The Invitation a 7.5 out of 10. I really liked it. It was like a horrifying fairy tale. You watch Evie get built up and going through the motions like a Cinderella story, and then everything goes dark and bloody, and it explodes, and it's great. It's fabulous. I really enjoyed it. I hope you guys too. Let me know if you've seen this movie, if you liked it, and what your thoughts are.
I want to go home.
But this is your home.
Okay, so now we are to movie number 3, and that one is 2023's Infinity Pool. This is also streaming on Hulu. And did you guess, right? Did you guess that this is the one that I'm not going to recommend? If you did, you would be right. Sorry, guys. If you love this movie, I'm sorry. I did not love it. I didn't like it. This movie had a great plot idea. I think that part of it is the only part that was just utterly fabulous. This film follows a struggling writer and his wife on vacation who, after they have an accident, they discover what the country's dark culture is. And basically that is that if you commit a crime, especially more severe crime, where the punishment is death, that you can actually have a body double created for the right price. And your body double will serve the punishment, whether that be stay in prison for the rest of your life or to actually be executed. And to me, that sounds amazing. That sounds like, oh, I've never seen that before or heard of that before. Like, ooh, that sounds like a juicy plot, right? Well, it is, but about, a third through the movie, or maybe it was half, I'm not sure. The movie absolutely goes off the rails. I want to not be too negative, but the movie to me went so crazy. The characters are so disgusting and unlikable. I didn't care what happened to any of them. Movies that are like that, it's hard for me to care about and to relate to and engage myself with when I absolutely find all the characters disgusting. This movie kind of turns into an off-the-wall group of people that are engaging themselves in, I'm going to say, pornographic stuff and deviant behavior and just societal carnage, and really seeming to enjoy themselves. And I think this movie has something to do with what the director is trying to maybe say something about society, but it was just so, there were so many things that I thought were so unnecessary. Like, I don't like it when someone puts gore in a movie just for gore's sake, or shock just to shock me. If there's a shock or there's gore, but it's part of the story, there's a reason why we need to see, like, say like a bear attack, okay? Well, if you show me what that looks like gory, I'm going to understand that is a serious danger. That hurts. Oh my gosh, get away. Or if our character has to visually see something horrific, like some sort of murder, like that might be really overly gory, but we needed to see what our character saw so we can relate to our heroine or hero. And this movie just put a lot of disgusting images on there that I didn't care for. I can see this being some people's cup of tea. I'm extremely surprised that this movie is rated as high as it is. I don't know. I have questions about that. I think that's really weird. I don't know. You can't trust the ratings all the time. A lot of times people put ratings out there or promote something or give it a good review because they're trying to get an edge up, you know, on something. So I don't know. I don't know what happened there. I would be very curious. What do you guys think? Did you like it? You know, if you did, it's totally fine. It's just not my cup of tea. I was really disappointed. I do think it's an excellent, excellent plot. I mean, oh my God, that would have been cool. But it just went somewhere that I just got disgusted by all the characters, and I could have cared less what happened to any of them. I am going to give this movie a 2.5 out of 10. I am not going to recommend it. So, let me know in the comments, you guys, if you did like this one. That's, you know, I don't want to get into any arguments about it or not. It just wasn't for me, and I can appreciate what I can appreciate about it, but I also have to let you know that, yeah, I think this was just kind of ooey. And you guys know I'm not going to leave you with that review and not give you something fun in the last one. So our last movie to review is Sting from 2024, and this is also streaming on Hulu. So I liked Sting. I'm going to just come right out and say it. This was a fresh take on a spider movie. It had depth to the story, and I liked all the characters. I think that this is a really good movie. I was surprised that I liked it as much as I did, to be honest. Our setting is in a South Brooklyn apartment building, and it's a complete snowstorm, so nobody is going to be going outside in this film. And we're introduced to Charlotte. She's a 13-year-old girl, and she lives in this apartment. She lives with her mom and her stepdad, Ethan, and she has a 6-month-old brother, Liam. And Charlotte likes to snoop through the building. She likes to go through the air ducts and snoop around and go into different people's apartment, especially the landlord lady, Gunder, who is a mean old bat. And she's actually the sister of her grandmother, Helga. So Helga and Gunder live in an apartment, and one day Charlotte goes over there and snooping around, and she finds a spider. And she decides that she's going to keep this spider. This would not be me. I would never ever. I don't like spiders. They scare me. I mean, if they're outside, it's all good. But I am afraid of spiders. I don't want them on me. Spider movies definitely creep me out, but I still love to watch them. So she takes this spider, she names it Sting, and she decides to keep it as a pet, and Sting is no ordinary spider. First of all, Sting grows exceptionally fast. And Sting can also mimic things like sounds. But the problem with Sting is that Sting does not want to stay in its cage. And I can guarantee you that Sting doesn't stay in its cage. This freaking spider, I am telling you. I had a lot of scares in this movie. A lot of jump scares. A lot of EBGBs. I had some jump scares where, like, yeah, I got spooked, and then I'm like, oh my God, and then I'm laughing. You know, it's just, spider scares are the best because, yes, you know, this particular scenario is probably not going to happen, but we all kind of creep out when it comes to spiders or snakes. We can all relate to this type of situation. We all know we don't want to stick our hand into something without knowing what's there or without a flashlight. It just works on all of our fears that everybody typically does have, one or the other, either snakes or spiders. I really liked all the people in the apartment. I think that that's why this movie was actually really good as it was, is because it had a lot of characters that built the story up. It had a plot. It had things going on. You know, her stepdad, Ethan, is really trying to work on being successful as a comic book artist. And he's trying to get in with Charlotte. It's very important since he's not her real father. You know, there's some heartwarming moments in this film, actually. It's got some depth. And, you know, there's Frank, the exterminator guy. I thought he was really funny. You have Eric, this kind of a weird scientist guy that lives in the building. You have, you know, the mean lady Gunder and Helga, who's her grandmother who loves mothballs, and she's clearly got dementia. So just a lot of things going on. It was a fun movie to watch. I highly recommend this movie. I'm going to give this a 7.5 out of 10. Just talking about it makes me want to rewatch it right now. This one is, I think, one that has a lot of rewatchability. They did a great job on the spider. I think there was, I don't know, maybe they did use CGI. I could not see any CGI. I thought this was all practical effect, and it definitely did not look like CGI. This movie was fun, it was spooky, and I was surprised. There was a couple times where certain things happened, and I was like, oh God, you know, where's it gonna go now? So I was kind of surprised, and that made it fun. You know, they did a really good job. This is a great spider movie. Let me know if you guys have seen this one, if you liked it, what you thought. Yeah, this was just a fun one. So I think overall we had 3 recommendations. You know, definitely want to recommend Caveat to You, The Invitation, and Sting. These are all ones that you should be able to stream. 2 of them are on Hulu. And then Caveat should be on AMC or Prime. You can find it there. These are all 2 thumbs up for each one of these. These were all really exciting films, and I enjoyed each and every one of them. So you guys have a great week. I will be back next week with 4 more, and I will try to get some other videos. I'm working on some other things, maybe some list type videos, trying to work on those, but I definitely will be back next week with another 4 scares of the week. Okay, you guys have a good one, and I'll see you soon.
You and Walter seem to be getting awfully close, Evie. I'm curious, though. What has he told you about us? Ow! Let me see.